2018 Ford Mustang with a turbo probably about this big. He ended up turning the boost up on and stuff and twisting the input shaft off on it. And we're going to take it apart and see what type of parts we have in here, see if we can upgrade it to a lot better stuff. So let's get this apart. This does have a 8-bolt pump for an ultra bell, which is the best way to do it. When you cut these bell housings off, you want to be able to bolt the bell housing all the way back to the case or to the pump. Some of them just have a 7-bolt or a 6-bolt, and that's not the way you want to do it. So this, I believe, is just a fully man. Is this a trans brake tranny? It is. There's nothing going to be under here, just where the governor used to be. Anytime you put a trans brake in them, you do away with the governor. Just plug it off. Now, here, I believe he's had this tranny built before. And it does have some high-dollar parts in it. But since he started making more power with the car and stuff, we want to go back to and make he have the right stuff in it. Now it does have a billet output shaft here. You can tell just by looking at the material. There's no place for speedometer gear. So this is an aftermarket. There's no bolt hole to bolt that yoke onto it. It is a slip yoke style output shaft. Now anytime you go to a fully manual 400 or a trans brake 400, you'll block off the this modulator valve right here. They'll give you this plug. Now the valve will still be in here, but it won't move. There's no modifications done to the valve or anything like that. They just block it all the way forward. That way it's at max pressure. I'm going to take this, this is an added support for the intermediate snap ring they put in here. There's some lugs in the case they didn't install, and they put the support in there to help support that snap ring. So let me get this nut off here before I flip it over. And then we'll take it apart to put it on the inside. Pan is. Now we don't have a lot of shrapnel. We do have a little bit of metal, but nothing really to be worried about on failures. So it smells a little warm, but now let me show you a mistake right here. Now, anytime you build a trans brake 400, you put a billet valve body and all this type of stuff on here, or you build it fully manual and you max the pressure out on them. You cannot put a standard filter in here. You have to run a high flow screen filter. This tranny can physically burn up just because of this reason. If you notice in here, there's a screen. You can barely see it down in there. If you look in here, it's a cloth. Well, this cloth will plug up and it can't flow enough fluid to support the pump pressure that we need now for this tranny to survive. So that's a no-no right off the bat. Always use a screen filter. This filter is cleanable. You don't have to ever throw it away, so it's a good investment. This does have a deep pan, which is a longer tube. Now you always want to double stack the O-rings going up into the case right here. Now this does have an internal brake. Transmission specialties, it looks like to me. We're gonna have to find that socket right here, Trent, to get this on.
Oh, okay.
Let me find it really quick. I thought I had everything here.
Might be 8mm in my tool cart if you need it.
Yours?
Yes, sir. 12 point.
I think I found it. These brakes are really nice. They release really quick. I mean, you got to be really careful, actually. If you got a quick release button, if you bump that button, and I've done it, this thing will come on so fast that it'll make your teeth chatter. So
That's a good one.
we really like them a lot. They work really good. Gives us turbo cars a little advantage on the starting line. Now when you take this brake here off, you got to be real careful because you can lose this ball. It's not under this piece here, but it's under this piece right here. I'm going to have to find that little Allen up there. That Allen?
Yes, sir.
I have to add all these special little bolts in here. Of course, I didn't grab my clothes.
No, you're fine. Real pretty.
Transmission builders do have special tools. Ugh. Well, that was in there. I'm going to give this just a little smack to kind of seat this, like that. And then we're going to try to break this loose because it's really tight. There we go, you hear it pop. If I wouldn't have done that, we probably would have stripped it. You always want to take your time taking these apart because they're so fragile. But if you slide this plate off right here, if I can get it off here. Stuck on there. Really good. Here it comes. There's a ball right here that'll fall out. You don't want to lose that. Now this here is your reverse band. Servo right here that applies the reverse band. Now, there will be some modifications in here. There'll be some sealing rings left off and stuff like that. They did it right. Got a rubber O-ring here. And then you leave the 2 rings off this piston here. Their valve body will come with this spring too. You replace the original one because this is your 3rd gear accumulator spring. So. Anytime you mess with this bolt, you're going to interrupt this surface right here. When you put it back together, you always want to flat file it. If not, you'll have a cross leak. Flat file all this area because this valve body does not have any gaskets. It goes metal to metal. So you want to make sure it's really flat. Now, we'll look at the pump first because anytime you put a trans brake on a stock pump, you're going to have pump wear. I mean, we see it every day. Let's see if we got here. Maybe we can just put some gears and be good. Let's see what we got. Stator surface area looks really good through here. You got pressure here, your suction here, so you cannot have any wear right here. It's got to look brand new. Your pump gears, they're really bad about egg shaping this hole right here when you put a trans brake on them, because they max the pressure out of 200 something pounds. So you really want to look at this gear. You can already see it start wearing it out. What really wears it the most is street driving, highway driving, stuff like that. It just can't get rid of that 200 pounds pressure. So what it does, let's see if I can get this off here. If you come over here and look, the pump looks brand new from here to here, like it's never been used. But if you come over here, you can start seeing the wear come in. And that's because it's shoving that gear sideways in that pump right there. So it'll need new pump body and gears. The pump stator seems to be good. Now, this is just basically a stock drum, completely stock. It's no modification to it at all. It's just what you find in your standard 400. Stock shaft, stock drum. There's nothing there. Now, when they did build the tranny, they did put a good forward hub in it. But a standard hub just has a really funny thud to it. This has a really ting to it. That's how you can tell it's hardened. The other one just make a thud and you have to replace it because it will strip right here if you don't. So if we look at our forward clutches, I mean, they're just totally burned up. If you notice, you can't tell this is a wave plate because it's smashed flat now, but it used to have a wave in it. When we build it back, we won't put any waves in this drum because we want it to come on. We don't want no cushion at all. 1, 2, 3. It does have a 5 clutch drum, but we're gonna have to put definitely a lot stronger clutch in here and get rid of this wave to make that work. Let me take this drum apart really quick. I'll be right back.
That small turbo's hard on this tranny.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know on building these trannies how to make them work. We'll see if he did what he needed to do. And he did. He left the seal out right here, which is good. So it lets it push fluid pressure on the whole piston to apply the forward clutch. I was thinking the seal probably would have been left in there while the forward clutch is burned up, but it wasn't. So just a stock drum, upgrade it to a Sonex drum or a Vasco drum or something like that. Now, I don't understand why they did this. They updated the direct drum and the intermediate sprag assembly to the baddest one on the planet, but they didn't update this. I don't understand that. That's really critical. But they did put a nice drum in there and big old beefy sprag assembly. Now this drum will explode, the steel one will, and that's why they go to a titanium or some type of alloy that's really light. If you pick this drum up, it don't weigh nothing. It's really, really light material. I mean, really, really light. You can tell it's pretty soft too because it's starting to get in here a little bit, but we can clean that up in a little bit. That'll be fine. Need to look in here and see what this won't come out, but I'll have to do that later. Now they do got Alto red clutches in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in there, which is good. They're starting to tarnish a little bit, but it's still looking pretty good. I don't know how many miles is on this yet. Now, if you look down here, here's that support I was telling you about that they add in here to support this intermediate snap ring right here. If you notice, there's no lugs under there like this. So it's bad about breaking these off and the snap ring blowing out of the case. So they add this support right here. see if that's a Torx trend. I can't see.
Oh. Yeah, it's probably gonna be that's. What size did you grab?
Was it Allen or Torx?
It's a Allen. Where's that other small one you had?
Nope, not that one.
Right there.
Something on that. Get that loose. Looks like somebody Loctited this in there when they didn't need to. Headache. Normally it didn't screw in, but that's a. This one ain't gonna get it. Strip it out. Okay, let me try it there. Can't find it.
Oh, because the shaft.
Okay, now I can. Maybe let me try. You hold that case. Yep.
There we go.
Okay, we got it. Now we get it out.
We can party on.
Huh.
As you can see what we were doing. Nothing's easy. Wasn't coming out.
I guess they Loctited it in there.
That's what it seemed like.
Normally this piece ain't in there and you can just take these apart really easy.
Right.
So, you know, when they add things, and they added this. What size is that one right there, Trent?
Gonna be that little guy. Where's your quarter? Is it not that one?
Nah.
Smaller?
Okay.
They had a bolt going through there.
I was hoping
Weird.
lifting that one up would help me get this one out, but it's not
Gotcha.
really making any.
That's how they
Yeah.
put that support in there. It's normally where your engine braking band goes.
Sorry it took so long to get that dude out, but you can see here how there's no lugs in the case to support that snap ring, and when they bolt that in there, it holds that snap ring from breaking out. Because these old trains, when you make them shift hard in a second, they really put a lot of stress on that snap ring. Now this clutch here is different than your normal 400 clutch because of that big sprag and that drum. Because of this piece right here, a normal 400 sprag seems a lot smaller, and the teeth count is a lot different. So you can see what they look like.
Yum and gone.
Still got 5 in there. Normally on the 4L80E we only have 4, so
Looks good.
that's a good little kit there. Okay, we got our center support. It's just a standard stock center support. They did leave the ring off to help apply third gear. They did upgrade this washer from plastic to metal. You always want to look at your sun gear for pits, any type of chips or anything here, because these gears are activated in first and in second, so you're going to look at all that type of stuff. We got a stock band which still looks really nice. We would put this band right back in. We wouldn't put an aftermarket in because they just don't make a good aftermarket band compared to a stock one, and the stock one still looks brand new. So see if the case has been updated. They did update the back of the case to a roller bearing instead of a thrust washer. We do have a billet output shaft. But there was a few modifications done to this unit that wasn't overkill, but they left a lot of underkill. They put nice stuff in places where they should have put some nicer stuff that was really cheap. This is your intermediate shaft. It's just a stock shaft. This shaft I would have thought would have broke before the input shaft, but we need to go back with a billet shaft here, go back with a billet one-piece drum here. This drum's really nice. We'll clean it up and inspect it, make sure the sprag assembly is still good. It's kind of hard to do. We got to cut the welds out of this snap ring in here to look at it, but we can still do that. Just a mediocre tranny. We'll get this thing back to where it's really nice. Put all billet stuff back in this thing. That way he can use that big turbo. Have a good day.